right.
Hey, Claire Bohne.
Hey, Chad Peevy.
What's going on?
I'm excited to be here.
Good. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Firebox Club. This is Open House, episode number 4. And we've got Claire Bohne here. She's the productivity coach at the Southwest Market Center in Austin, Texas. And really happy to have Claire on. Let's get started with some questions from the box. Claire Bell. You want to pick or do you want me to pick?
You pick.
All right. Which means I get veto rights. All right. If you had to live to be 100, would you rather have a sharp mind or a fit body?
Fit body. Be a real bummer to have a sharp mind, not be able to move, go anywhere, do anything.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you could go somewhere and do something but not remember any of it, that would
That's
also
fine.
be bad.
Be fun in the moment.
All right. We should be drinking. I just realized this.
Like, still?
Yeah.
More?
My morning buzz is wearing off. Is justice or forgiveness more important?
Forgiveness.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
So you can be at peace with yourself, whatever you have going on.
Okay. If you could be brilliant in one subject, which would you choose?
Productivity coaching.
I would say business.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good answers, Claire.
Skeptical about all my answers.
Yeah, well, I'm poking and prodding. Hey, everybody, if you're watching this and you want to share Claire's information with your friends on Facebook, go and share it on your Facebook page. You can share the video so that other folks in your network can hear all of Claire's insights and wisdom. Oh, that's a foul. All right. So, again, this is Claire Bohne. Claire is productivity coach at Market Center number 1, one of the productivity coaches at Market Center number 1. I've not shared any of the questions with Claire today,
Despite me asking.
despite her frequent request and popping by the office. So, Claire, let's get going. How did you wind up at KW?
Well, good question. So
They're all good questions.
we'll see. I'll be the judge of that.
All right.
Basically, I had decided to get into real estate and talked to a friend of mine who was a realtor and talked to her about her company because she was with someone other than Keller Williams, and then actually just had a connection to someone who was with KW. And got an interview, met with Melanie Kenneman.
Hey, Melanie.
Rest is kind of history.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you started as an agent.
Started as an agent.
What year was that?
That was 2013.
And what were you doing before real estate?
For real estate, I was teaching 3 to 6 year olds reading and math.
So a lot of transference of skill there. Yeah. Awesome. How did you get this job, Claire?
Well, the previous coach who was in this role decided to move on to other opportunities, and she identified me as someone that she thought would be a good fit, as well as Ken, who is my co-coach, and went to our leadership and said that that's who she recommended, and they came and asked if we were interested, and we said yes.
You said yes. All right. So, Claire, I want you to, for folks out there that don't know what a productivity coach is, explain what exactly that is, what does that mean, and if you could, also give us the day-to-day of your schedule, what that looks like.
So productivity coaching means that I'm working with new agents who are getting into real estate and sitting down with them and identifying what their goals are.
These are brand new agents. These are not agents new to Keller Williams necessarily.
Right.
They're brand new to the real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so together we figure out what their goals are, and then we map out their strategy on how they're actually going to achieve them. We do, some math and just say, what does that activity level need to look like on a weekly basis?
Okay.
And what activities are you going to be engaging in to get there? And then just working with them, I answer a lot of real estate questions every day, which I really enjoy. That was my favorite part of the process of being a real estate agent, was the teaching part.
Yeah, because when you were an agent, Claire and I go way back, and I knew Claire before she was productivity coach. And one of the things that I remember, you won the Eagle Award a couple years ago, and I think that, tell people what that Eagle Award is. How is that awarded? It's like the most popular kid at school, right?
So the Eagle Award. Why am I the one that has to explain this? So the Eagle Award is something that the agents in the market center vote for who they feel is someone that embodies the culture of Keller Williams.
Okay.
And so the way that I was doing that unintentionally, because I didn't know about the Eagle Award until the week before I won it, was that I just really enjoyed helping the agents by answering real estate questions. Because again, the training part and the teaching is my favorite.
So you were already doing a lot, helping agents, answering questions, and figuring out those activities before you were ever in the role officially.
Yeah.
So when it came time to find somebody for this job, you were a natural fit because you were already doing a lot of the things that a productivity coach does.
Yep.
Yeah? All right. So I want to talk a little bit. You mentioned that you're helping agents figure out the weekly activities. Mm-hmm. For a new agent coming into the business, how do you identify what those activities would be?
So we know that as a real estate agent, all of the reasons that people get into real estate, right? The flexibility in your schedule, the unlimited income, getting to be your own boss, helping people, looking at homes, all of those things. That's what I call the shiny real estate, and it's the part that people are excited about.
The shiny?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the sex appeal of I get to be my own guy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that causes people to get into the industry. And what most people don't realize is that those things come later. And in order to get to those things, we have to set up our dominoes, right?
Yeah.
And our first domino is the client. Because until we have a client, we can't do any of the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we talk about with new agents is, well, how are we going to get the clients, right? And that's just conversations. It's talking to people. It's building relationships. And so when we're calculating their activity level, that's what we're looking at. We're saying, okay, well, based on what your goals are, that's going to basically, when we back up many steps, it's going to boil down to conversations.
Okay. Cool. So there are a lot of, in talking to team leaders and folks of that ilk across Keller Williams, I think that productivity coaching is established, but still early for a lot of market centers. So when you're talking about what makes a good productivity coach, could you maybe identify what makes a good coach?
I would say, so, someone, aside from the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to have knowledge of how things work.
That
so
should be a given,
that's a given.
right?
That's our basic foundation. Besides that, I think...
and we're talking about knowledge of what exactly?
Of real estate, of the process.
Okay. You're familiar with the contract. You're familiar with how to
Yeah.
get business. Okay.
Right. Our basic foundational pieces, right? Coming into this and going into a position where you're coaching people on how to do real estate without having done real estate yourself would not be a win-win. I think what is really important in my eyes, and I think that this question will be answered differently by different people, for me, it's speed. So I remember when I was a new agent and you have a question, you feel like the world is ending.
Yeah.
And it's like, I need it now, or the world will explode.
Yeah.
And I have different perspective on that now, right? And I hear Wendy Papasan in my head a lot saying, remember that we're not heart surgeons, right? We're not saving lives.
We're not doing organ transplants.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to happen. However, to the agent and also to the client, a lot of the time it feels important. It feels like an emergency because it is usually the largest financial investment someone will have.
Yeah.
And so it is important. And so for me, something that I believe is important is remembering what it was like to be new. Because I think that it's easy to lose sight of that. The further in we get and the more jargon we use and when we get that perspective, we forget what the perspective is day one.
Yeah.
And so I try really hard to hold on to that perspective that I had at the beginning because it goes away. Yeah.
Okay. So you think it's being responsive to the agent's need? That's what makes a good productivity coach?
Yeah.
Outside of the basic foundation of this is how do you do real estate?
Right. Remembering what they feel like they need.
Yeah.
Because what they feel like they need and what they actually need sometimes are different.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that's still true for me, right? I have a coach.
Yeah.
And sometimes what I'm telling her I need is different from what she knows I need.
Okay.
And so there's a balance there of her having to give me what's going to make me feel satisfied from that conversation and her also giving me what she knows that I actually need.
Okay. So that was actually on this page here, does the coach have a coach?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I have a coach. My coach has a coach. Her coach has a coach.
Yeah.
Yep. We're a coaching company. And all my agents hear me say this over and over. Until you're the best you can be, you need a coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's how people get to the Olympics, right? They don't just train themselves.
Yeah.
So it's a difference between failing forward slowly and expensively.
Yeah.
Or having someone guide you there a lot faster.
What are your coaching sessions like?
So for me, I have a MAPS coach. MAPS is the coaching division of Keller Williams. And what that looks like are half-hour calls once a week.
Okay. How did you identify that coach?
Really just through understanding what other coaches who have similar personalities to myself and also similar goals for their business, who they were coaching with and what they were getting out of that relationship.
So is this somebody that was referred to you?
I did some research, and I mean, the great news is that all of the MAPS coaches are so well qualified, right?
Yeah.
They can't be MAPS coaches unless they are.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel like there's one right coach for me necessarily, or for anyone. I think that, and what I've heard from like Tim Heil talk and different people is that you have a coach for a certain season of your life and of your business, and then that coach gives you what you need in that moment.
Yeah.
And then there's a different coach for a different, section. So
Have you been with the same coach since you started this role?
No, I've had two different coaches.
Okay.
Yeah. And they had completely different coaching styles, and I got a tremendous amount out of working with the coach I was with previously, and I'm continuing to get a tremendous amount of my new coach.
Cool. How did you know it was time for a change?
I think just seeing that I had ceilings that I wasn't breaking through as quickly as I had been, and saying I think that, it's just time for a change up.
So it's not a personal decision. You were able to back it up to there are real things going on in my business that maybe are not getting addressed.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need to go through someone else to succeed.
Yeah, and I waited longer than I should have to change coaches because I liked my coach so much.
Got it.
On a personal level.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed working with her, and I think a lot of her. And I was, holding on to that personal relationship when I needed to be looking at it from a business perspective.
Okay. Cool. So let's flip the script a little bit. What makes for a good agent in the coaching program?
So for me, that's just one word, and the one word is discipline, and that's it.
Yeah?
Yep. You can be really smart. You can have a lot of experience. You can have a great network, a great database, and fail miserably. Yep. Because what we see is that, when we put a whole bunch of time into the wrong things, or we don't put any time in at all, then you don't get results.
Yeah.
So having discipline around the one and only thing, which we talked about as conversations, that's what makes a good agent, period, the end. Because the rest comes naturally and organically and automatically when you're disciplined about having conversations.
So you and I have never talked about this, but I'm really interested to hear your take on this. So when I have agents come in and have a conversation with me and they're like, well, I'm from corporate America and I've been doing this, blah, 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 and I have this much experience, or I've had a small business and I've been super successful at doing this, this, and this. And then they come into real estate, and I never try to be like, well, I don't want to discount what their success so far, but I also have seen lots of agents come through who have been super successful at something else. And real estate is just a totally different animal.
Yep.
So what is your conversation with folks that come in maybe with a chip on their shoulder, maybe a little overly confident in their ability because of past success that may or may not translate to real estate? Do you just give them enough rope to hang themselves, or do you coach that?
Well, we just back up and we say, okay, so what do you need to do to be successful in real estate? Because to be successful in real estate doesn't even look the same as being successful in other sales industries. Right? It's different.
Totally different.
It's not just I have success in sales, therefore I will have success in real estate sales.
Yeah.
Because it's a different game. So for people who have had massive success, I'm excited by that, right? Because they have validity in what they've done previously. And yet it's the same for you as for someone who is straight out of school, or who, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because it's a new thing no matter where you're coming from.
Yeah. Do you think that matters with the market? Like in Austin, I think we're accustomed to people, it's a very transient city.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when people come in, they're not necessarily looking for the pillar or the rock of the community. It's really, I think, the playing field is more level in a big city than I think in a smaller market where people aren't moving around as much and they kind of call on the old school folks to help them.
Yes. So you're saying the difference between, less movement and having longer term relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say there's absolutely opportunity here for that reason. And also, when you have the confidence, or whether you can portray the confidence, regardless of if you really have it, you can still win that business. Even when someone has a long-standing relationship, it just comes down to, can you have a stronger relationship? Time doesn't necessarily matter. Length of it doesn't always trump.
Yeah, what have you done for me lately, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when agents come into your program, well, help us understand exactly what your program is. It's people that are brand new to real estate. They're coming into Keller Williams, and are they required to be part in your program, or is this an optional program?
So when someone is new to the business, they are automatically enrolled into coaching.
Okay.
Because we know that without coaching, the likelihood of them finding success is so much lower.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have the support. And not just the support, right? It's not just answering real estate questions and things like that. It's just a map. Because we're here to provide a map. This is what's going to happen. That this is your next step. Here's where you go. And it's just the constant guiding of here's what needs to be going on.
So is that what an agent, what are they paying for? How do I get my money's worth out of Claire's program?
So really how you're getting your money's worth out is participating and plugging in. And we know that when an agent plugs in, they find a higher degree of success.
What percentage of agents come in and plug into your program?
It depends. So Ken, who's my co-coach, he and I are teaching different groups or coaching different groups of agents. So for my folks, I would say that it depends on a few different factors. When an agent is really brand new, we see a high level of engagement. And then as they start to have success, one of two things can happen. They can either feel too busy to plug in, which is usually a recipe for disaster, because then that means that we're not managing our time properly, or they can continue to plug in. And then we also have folks who aren't plugging in at that high level, which is due, to a number of different things. So that can, oftentimes come from discouragement, I think. Yeah. Because I have never once had anyone come to me and say, wow, real estate is so much easier than I expected.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever heard that?
No, that doesn't happen.
Right. And, everybody and their mother has had their real estate license at some point. Because it's relatively easy to get. Right. And then we know that 90% of people fail after their first year, and that's because it's not easy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Tell us, give us some insight into what a coaching session is like with you. How often do agents come in and see you?
So this is something that we actually have decided to change for 2017, which we're really excited about. So earlier this week, we finalized the whole training calendar. And what it's going to look like is we're going to have group coaching sessions. And depending on the agent's business and where they are in their business and what they're dealing with and what success that they've had at that point, that's going to determine what their coaching looks like.
Okay. Will there be one-on-one sessions? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that may be different for different people. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So basically the frequency would be different depending on where an agent is in their business. The beautiful thing about Keller Williams, right, is that we know that together we succeed at a higher level than we do individually. Yeah. And that's really why the group coaching session comes in, is because when you have an opportunity to be in a room of other agents who are, going through the same things you are, then you get to learn from each other. And so I'm just one perspective. Yeah. And why limit yourself to just my perspective? Yeah.
It's like group therapy. Yeah.
To a certain degree.
To a certain degree. All right, Claire, it's time for the lightning round. So glad that you're here to play with the lightning round with us. So these are just quick questions that I'm going to ask, and the first thing that pops in your head is what you're gonna give us. There's no right or wrong answer. All right.
All right.
All right. What are you reading right now?
What am I reading right now? Quiet Leadership.
Quiet Leadership by
Good question.
All right. Amazon.com. All right. Etsy or Pinterest?
Etsy.
Really? Why?
Well, for different things. I mean, they
You're
serve
an
different...
Etsy freak, though. Like, you're always buying.
What does that mean?
Because you've always got little knickknacks and your phone cover and your computer sticker.
Yeah, both are true.
All right, here's a tough one. You ready for this? You ready for this, John Bohne? Pokey Joe's or Salt Lick?
Are you trying to break up my marriage? Salt Lick, sauce, Pokey Joe's, everything else.
Okay, that was such a good answer. Crippling anxiety or crippling regret?
Which one do I prefer?
Yeah.
Crippling regret.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's your role model?
Gary Keller.
Yeah, you had a session with Gary Keller last week, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And the last question, Claire, could you demonstrate your favorite dance move for us?
You are horrible. Okay, so what camera am I on here? All right.
Either this one or that one.
So, Chad Peevy is always playing music in his office, and I always come in, and I can't help myself. It's good music, and I dance, and nothing makes him more uncomfortable. So if you're lucky at the end, I will absolutely demonstrate my favorite
You'll dance?
move.
Awesome. All right, that's the lightning round. Thanks for playing, Claire. Let's talk about Market Center education. We
Okay.
chatted about it just a little bit. You just finished the teaching calendar. What can we expect in 2017?
Oh, I'm so excited. I mean, truly, it's first of all, it's a big weight lifted off my shoulders to be done with it.
Yeah.
And I'm still not done with, the things that come after. So for 2017, we have 913 classes. that
Okay,
we're
these are not
offering.
different classes. These are
913 times that you can come
Times,
here.
okay.
Yes. And basically, we have new classes.
okay.
And the focus for 2017 has really shifted to be focused more on hands-on.
Okay.
So Ignite, for people who don't know what Ignite is, that's our new agent training that Keller Williams International writes for us. And we implement with a local lens, local teachers, things like that. That was rewritten about a year ago now to be more hands-on, and we wanted to take it a step further. So agents in their first month are going to go through Ignite, which is taught by the top agents in this building. And then that'll be month 1. And that is largely learning with also some doing. And then month 2 is going to be all hands-on. Going in, and it'll be led by a top agent. However, instead of sitting and hearing, right, instead of teaching, it's going to be more facilitating.
Okay.
Also, we have Power Hour 5 days a week.
Which is what?
It's where our agents are coming and they're really practicing and perfecting their language and then finding new business in that room.
Okay.
And so this year...
So there are phone calls happening in the room
Mhm.
5 days a week?
Yep.
Okay.
And this year, the way that the calendar fell was that we basically implemented Power Hour after we came into the role. And so the calendar was already set, and we just kind of got it in where we could,
Yeah.
which meant that there were a whole bunch of conflicts, and agents couldn't come because they were expected to be in other classes and so on. Next year, there will be no conflicts.
Okay.
So Power Hour in the morning, every morning, because we know that that's the most important thing they can be doing.
What are some of the new classes coming out next year that you've put in place here?
We have Pack Your Open House.
Okay.
So you're going to learn from 2 of our amazing agents who get a ton of their business from open houses, Justin Gonzalez and Shayna Moats.
Right.
Shayna was our Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, did $9 million, all from open houses, basically. Yep. And we have Master the Market, Master Your Finances. We have Impress the Seller, Impress the Buyer, Perfect Your Language. We have some really good hands-on.
Great. That's awesome. Tell me about the master faculty. How do you recruit the best people to carve out a lot of time throughout the year to commit to that? What's your pitch?
Well, first of all, I have a lot of people coming to me saying that they're interested in teaching because we're lucky enough to have amazing people who want to give back to our agents.
Okay.
And they know that they have expertise that they want to share. And really the culture of this company is to pay it forward, right?
Yep.
They got to learn from someone else.
That's right.
Now they have the knowledge and they want to pass it on.
Yep.
And so people are self-identifying to get their name on the list. And then also I'm just looking around and saying, who's a leader? and
Mhm.
who would be great in front of our people, who not only has the knowledge and, who would really captivate the room, and who also, like you said, is willing to carve out this time to do it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty outstanding that we have top agents who have the biggest businesses in this city willing to do that for our brand new people.
Yeah, that's great. We have a question. Matt, who is it
Right.
from?
It is from Mark Donahue, who asks, what does an agent's business need to look like to go to one-on-one coaching?
To go to one-on-one coaching. So basically, once you have some closings and pendings, then one-on-one coaching becomes available. And that's not to say that you can't get me one-on-one before that, right? Ken and I are available all the time for questions. People are popping in one-on-one all day long with questions. When we're going to sit down and carve out time together to look at your business, that would be once you have some
Once you've got some traction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. Great. Thanks for the question. Was it Mark?
Yeah, it was Mark.
Is he one of yours here?
He's not currently coaching with me.
Oh, cool.
I'll be in touch, Mark.
Sounds good. So with the heavy training calendar like you've outlined, do you ever have agents say, I feel really overwhelmed. This is just a lot. How do you help folks get past that? How do you help them navigate the system?
Yeah. The reality is, it is a lot. It is overwhelming, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And so
suck it up, get over it, power through. Is that your advice?
Yes, I'm probably not using those words. What I'm communicating is that it's going to feel overwhelming, and the overwhelm's not going to stop. And so you just have to understand that the fact that you're overwhelmed is not because of you, right? It's not because you're not doing the right things. It's just because it is overwhelming,
Yeah,
and
it's
we
a lot
call
of
it the
stuff.
fire hose, and there's no other way around it.
Yeah.
You just got to learn it.
Just get through it.
Yep.
And there's no timetable. I mean, the classes, I know I'm teaching some of the classes, they're repetitive. They're over and over. So if you don't, if you're feeling overwhelmed, then come back and take it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say at least 50% of the classes that we offered this year, people want to take more than one time.
Yeah.
For a number of different reasons. Partially, sometimes it's because of the overwhelm and it's like, I didn't catch all that. Most of the time it's because they really loved the content and or the instructor.
Yeah.
Right? We all connect with different people
Right.
and they want to go back. I know I could have listened to Tim Heil every month for my first year.
Mhm.
So.
Okay, great.
Got a couple more questions.
Yeah, let's hear it.
What was the biggest learning curve for you when transitioning into your new role?
Who's that from?
It's from Emily.
Okay.
The biggest learning curve. So, I had seen what it looked like to be in this role before I was in this role. And I think it's really hard as an agent to actually see what staff does, right? You just don't see what they're doing all day. And so
That's
I guess
kind of on purpose, yeah? Right.
Well, and they're just in class and I'm just, doing things. And so I don't know that I'm intentional about hiding anything. It's sort of like an agent with their client, right? The client oftentimes feel like their agent isn't doing anything.
Right.
And it's just because their agent is so busy doing things and not mentioning it. And so I think for me, I was just shocked at the magnitude of what it means to be, in a leadership role here.
Yeah. So, but you had the advantage of seeing it before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it all.
Yeah.
I thought I did and I didn't.
Was there another one, Matt?
Yeah, this one is from Christopher Hurley. What is the production level where you transition the agent to maps?
So once an agent becomes a capper, and so in our world, what that means is that at Keller Williams, our agents reach a certain point that we call capping, where their commission remains their commission. They get to 100%, we no longer take a split. And so when an agent caps, then...
That's in your program as well? I know that's KW, but that's coaching as well? Okay.
Right. Well, and so for us, they're in our program, our new agent program, for their whole first year.
Okay.
They're not paying for it, and once it's time for them to move on to the next step, that next step looks like maps.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. What advice do you have for a new productivity coach?
For a
Somebody
new
just getting
productivity coach. I would say that kind of what I said earlier, just remember where the agents are. Because I, hear productivity coaches sometimes complaining about different things that the agents need from them and so on and so forth. And I understand, where they might be coming from. And we have to remember that this agent is in a whole new world, learning a whole new language.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the joy, is all of the little stuff that they don't understand that they're asking questions about, right? Because there's a lot of questions to ask, and my goodness, I would so much rather you ask than not know.
Right. Cool. So Jim Sonhalter, team leader at Keller Williams Realty, Loudown Gateway in Ashburn, Virginia, sent a emailed the question in this morning, and he wants to know, how does a market center find a rockstar productivity agent?
I would say looking within your people. That's how I got into this role. And again, someone could have a drinking game probably for how often I say the beauty of Keller Williams, but I really mean there's so many beautiful things. We have, people who have the opportunity in our world to rise into a leadership position organically. And those people, you can just look out into your people and see who they are.
So look inside first.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go, Jim. Hope that helps, man. You can email Claire if it didn't help. All right, Claire, it's time to play my game. It is time for Word Nerd.
All right.
You ready for this?
I'm not even supposed to know any of these, right?
Yeah. You're going to know some of them.
All right. Maybe.
All right. Matt came up with all these, so
don't blame me.
If they suck, we're going to blame Matt.
So I'm supposed to guess what you're saying here.
Well, I'm going to give you a word, and then you tell me what you think it means.
Yeah.
You'll probably be wrong, but I'll correct you.
probably be
All right,
wrong.
here's the first one.
Great. Been prepared for failure.
Nitterosity? Is that how you say this?
I don't know. Nitterosity?
Nitterosity? This is... John needs to write this down, because that's a hint.
John is my husband.
John is your husband, because this...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Any guesses?
No.
You gotta guess.
Generosity.
This is not fun if you don't guess.
Unconditional caring.
That's not it.
Oh, so nice.
That's so nice, though. It means belching with the taste of undigested meat.
And my husband needs to write that down. Why?
Because he's in the meat business with the barbecue.
Okay. All right. Honey, take note.
All right, here's the next one. Sabrage.
I would say sabrage.
Sabrage.
Sabridge.
Okay.
Sounds like a type of horse.
A type of horse? That's a really good guess, Claire. You are creative. But you're wrong. It's the act of opening a bottle with a saber.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right? Awesome.
They do that on Real Housewives.
You would know. Tasha will appreciate that shout out. All right, here's the next one. Dementor.
Oh, where is it?
As in Harry Potter?
Ooh.
That's a win.
That's a win. I think that's the first win we've ever had.
Well, that's an easy one.
Okay, so it's a creature who feeds on the happy emotions of humans.
Yeah.
Dementors are employed as guards at Azkaban.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. There you go, Chad.
All right, here's the next one.
You're learning new things.
I know. Matt writes this stuff. Here's the next one. Jumentus.
Oh, this one's good.
Something happy.
Something happy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's correct.
It's smelling like horse urine.
Thank you, Matt, for choosing these.
And the final one, which is my favorite, because I think this is probably a habit of yours. How do you pronounce this? Apodiopsis? Apodiopsis? Apodiopsis?
No, apodiopsis.
Apodiopsis. I went to UT. Apodiopsis. What does it mean?
I don't know, but are you about to insult me?
It's not insulting. I think it's awesome.
This sounds very underhanded. I don't know.
It's the act of mentally undressing someone. You're a winner, though, Claire. You got one right. That's a
Yes,
first.
the one that anyone
We need
living in
confetti.
2016 would get right.
Well, I didn't know it.
Yeah, he didn't know.
All right, Claire. So this is the Barbara Walters section. These are. I'm hoping for tears on this one. I know you put on your mascara today, but I'm really pulling for tears. This is all right. I want to. I'm not serious.
Okay, well, read it.
All right. So What do you see as the biggest challenge that agents face when they start with you? What's the hardest thing for them to overcome?
Having conversations about real estate.
Is that easy? Is it? I mean, wouldn't you think that's easy?
No, I remember how hard it was for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. The thing is that when you having a conversation about real estate looks something like asking that person for business.
Yeah.
And agents get hung up, and I got hung up on the fact that my mindset was that I'm taking, right? I'm like asking you for
Right.
something so that I can
Right.
take something from
It's
you.
the feeling of being a salesperson.
Right.
Yeah.
And no one wants to be
Nobody wants to be the
salesy.
sales guy. Yeah.
So, what we have to do, right, bold law, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Meaning, when we can remember that there are a lot of real estate agents out there who are not great at what they do, that the people that you love will work with if they don't work with you, right? So are you taking or giving? You're giving them
Yeah.
a great opportunity, because when you're a person of integrity and when you have the support and knowledge and resources that you have when you're with Keller Williams and you have the #1 training company in the world behind you, then right, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
So we just have to change how we're looking at it. It's hard in the beginning though.
Yeah.
And it's hard 5 years in. We have people coming to Power Hour who are 5 years in the business who still struggle with that. It
Yeah.
does not necessarily go away.
Yeah. Sales are tough. Being a real estate agent is tough.
Says a non-real estate agent.
Yeah, a former, a recovering real estate agent.
Exactly.
It's tough. It's not my gig. All right, so here's the next one. You're young.
Don't say how old I am, because they all have bets.
So how do you bridge the gap? How do you relate to folks that have a lot of years on you?
To me, it doesn't make a difference because they're starting over.
Yeah.
And just like I could be, 65 getting into real estate, or I could be a 65-year-old productivity coach, and they're in a new chapter.
Yeah.
And I'm here to support them in that.
What would you say to a team leader who's maybe looking at hiring a productivity coach, but their objection is maybe, oh, that person's too young? Because you were young, you're very young taking on this role. So what would you say to that team leader?
All I would say is, are they someone that people in the market center in that moment could look at as a leader? Because now the people I coach, right, they have no idea what I was like before I was a productivity coach. They
Yeah.
only see me in this role. I know, though, based on how often my phone rang, that I was someone that people came to when they had questions before I was in this role.
Yeah.
And I loved having that opportunity to help them.
Did you, when you came into the role, or I guess even still, when folks come through the door and they're coming to see you, do you face any ageism from folks that come in?
If I do, I don't know about it.
Yeah.
I don't think about it.
Yeah.
My executive assistant is older than I am.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. We all have different experience and different things to bring to the table. So. And
Yeah.
I'm no stranger to the fact that I have a lot of years left to live and learn, right? So that doesn't mean that I know any more than anybody else. Just means that in this space, I have the capability of helping them build their business.
Right, regardless of your age.
Yeah.
Cool. You're a very let me start over. You're a very tech savvy individual. Everything's in Evernote.
Yeah.
Life is a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life is a spreadsheet.
Life is a
I love
spreadsheet.
that. Let's put that on my door.
Yeah, the next bold law. How do you, because I see a lot of these agents come through the door and they're not tech savvy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you relate with those that are less tech savvy? How do you pull them along? What's your advice to them? Does it matter?
My advice is go to Flutterbox Club.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I was not asked for that plug. The reality is, and that's my advice for people who are tech savvy, right? Because tech savvy or not tech savvy, it's a waste of their time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your skill level is. It's not what will make you successful in real estate. So my advice is leverage it. Your time is more valuable than that as a realtor. And how I relate to them, I mean, I help them format things in Word. I help. I explain.
So scheduling a meeting with you is done online, is that right?
Depending on the meeting.
Okay.
But that's a click of a button.
Delivering a person navigating the MLS.
Yeah.
Creating a CMA.
Mhm.
All that's going to be done online.
Right.
Is that intimidating for folks that aren't as tech savvy? How do you help them through that?
Yes.
Is real estate for them?
Oh, definitely. Definitely it's for them because, so first of all, yes, my life is paperless.
Yeah.
I don't do paper. And I know that not everybody is like that.
Yeah.
And so, for example, I have paperless checklists for them, and I say, or you print this and make it paper, right? It's just, you have to figure out what works for you. As far as the systems that can't be paper, that have to be paperless, such as MLS,
Yeah.
then that's going to training as many times as they need to go to training to feel comfortable. And that's why, especially next year, we're going to be even more hands-on. And really my goal and the intention in our hands-on classes is that they're going to be workshop for at least 75% of the class.
Cool.
So that they're doing, because, the watching is important and then the doing is more important.
Great answer. If you guys have questions for Claire, be sure to submit those. Matt, are there more?
There are more. There are more.
Great. Let's hear them.
I have two from Mark Donahue. Do you encourage your agents to take MAPS group coaching while in their first year?
Oh, definitely. In your first year, absolutely. I have agents who take that. We have language of sales. We have 90 listings, different things. I would say that it comes down to your implementation, right? Because what we see sometimes with folks who are extremely plugged in is that there's not activity after the plugging in. So you can sit and you can learn and you can hear what you need to be doing, and then if you're not doing it, then it's not helpful. So you can be masterful of the knowledge and not masterful of the implementation.
Yeah.
And so with a MAPS program, do it and then take what you are learning and actually implement it.
Is it possible to be overcoached?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's up to the agent if they are going to take action.
Yeah.
Mark, by the way, is one of our agents in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh,
which
fabulous.
And he also says, since you mentioned an executive assistant, what is your business model, and who all do you have working for you?
So in our market center, we have 2 coaches. I'm one, Ken is the other. I work with the full-time agents who join us, and Ken is working with dual career agents who have a time commitment elsewhere, be it a stay-at-home parent or a job that they're transitioning out of. Basically, they have the intention of becoming full-time and just, are in the in-between.
Mm-hmm.
And we just hired an executive assistant so that we can focus on our 20%.
Okay. Are you in production yourself?
No. So staff in this market center doesn't compete with our agents.
Okay.
I would never want someone to come to me and have a question and me be too busy negotiating my own deal or showing a house or anything like that.
Yeah. What happened with your business?
I identified a business partner, Kristen Williams, and the Williams team, and they have taken amazing care of my people, and so I trust them deeply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Carter and Kristen.
Yeah.
What else, Matt? Anybody else?
I don't have anything right now. Although Kelly Nold, who's watching, says that she has seen Saveridge done before,
Thanks, Kelly.
and it was pretty fantastic.
Oh, well, thanks, Kelly Noel. That's awesome. Claire, what are you most excited about in the future of real estate?
You mean industry-wide or for this market center?
Industry-wide. What gets you excited about where it's going?
For me, the tech gets me really excited, and how the tech is going to leverage our people.
Does that scare you, though?
Oh, gosh, no.
You don't think that the real estate agent is going to go the way of the dodo bird?
Nope.
Nope?
Nope.
Not going to happen?
Nope. Transactions are becoming more and more complex. And people, this is something Gary Keller talked about a couple weeks ago when we were in that session with him, and as an agent, that's a great thing for us because that means that the added complexity means our clients need us even more. And so I don't think there's any chance that the real estate agent is going to go away. It's a relationship business, and especially in the residential real estate, there's so many emotions involved. I mean, you're a consultant to them first and foremost.
Any more questions, Matt?
No.
Anything you want to share, Claire? Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
My tree's already out for Christmas.
You're so
I'm excited.
organized.
Well, we had time. And it's my favorite thing because when I sit on the couch, my husband and then my tree. And so it's the best view. I figure better have
That's
it
so
longer.
nice.
It's true. It's my favorite. I take a picture of it every year even though
Yeah.
it looks the same.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very cool. For those of you out there watching and aren't not familiar with the Flyer Box Club, we are in market centers and always looking for new partner market centers to help your agents create leverage in their business and help market centers create leverage in the business. So go to helpmymarketcenter.com. There's a webinar there where you can learn more about what we do and who we are. And if there are no more questions, Matt, awesome. Claire Bohne, thank you so much. You're a wonderful guest.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend.